And the Romantics.
I'm Danielle.
And I'm Katie.
And this week we're doing Someone Great.
This is a modern love story.
Modern.
And when did it come out? 2018?
I think 2018, yeah. It's one of our more recent ones.
My favorite thing to think about is like people in 2018 like blissfully unaware of like what 2020 shall bring.
The beginning.
Like
God.
Now everything that's made will be in like a post-pandemic perspective, but like everything made then
is like you have to be like they had no idea what was coming.
They had no idea.
They had no clue. And I'm just I want to live in that time.
I know. There's something so comforting about it.
Where we didn't have to think about this.
God.
Anyway, how's your pandemic going? Hope it's going great, because ours is fantastic. We started a little podcast called Will They, Won't They? Don't know if you've heard of it. But this movie's very, very cute. Yeah, so, I mean, let's get into it. There's not much to say beforehand.
Yeah.
Let's get into it.
Let's get into it.
Let's get
I
into
hate
it.
this, Danielle.
Let's get into it.
Don't make this a thing.
I'm making it a thing. Okay. Sorry, guys. So, yeah, it's got a stacked cast. It's Gina Rodriguez, Lakeith Stanfield, Brittany Snow, DeWanda Wise. It's all beautiful people. Mm-hmm. It's like obnoxious.
Rupaul Charles.
Rupaul Charles.
Rupaul
Charlies. Ooh.
Yeah.
He's French now.
Get it right. It's Charles.
Oh my God. Sorry. Yeah. I mean, everyone in this movie is beautiful. It's very fun to watch from my perspective, at least.
Gorgies.
Yeah. So I guess we open with, how does it start?
Well, it basically starts with, Gina Rodriguez's character Jenny, and she's at the she's in the subway station, at the subway station.
Yeah.
And she's like basically just talking to the stranger, crying with like a bottle of whiskey.
Oh, yeah.
About like the fact that her boyfriend broke up with her from like 9 years.
Yeah.
And then the girl and her are just kind of going back and forth. She's just like a random woman.
It's really funny, yeah.
Yeah, it's funny. And she's like, he just broke up with me. And then the lady's like,
he didn't even want to try to make it
what?
work?
After 9 years? What the hell's wrong with him? Look at you, you're beautiful. And
Look at your teeth.
She's like, I know.
Yeah, so we learn that Gina Rodriguez's character, Jenny, has been broken up with by her boyfriend, Nate, because she has accepted a job in San Francisco, and this is set in New York, and he doesn't want to try and make it work via long distance. We learn later that there are other reasons behind why it wouldn't work, but also that is the major reason. And Jenny's just kind of going through that.
I feel like, yeah, and they do a really interesting thing where they kind of show you, like, pieces of their relationship, like, throughout the movie. It's, like, basically just one day.
Yeah.
But then, like, they're taking you back in time throughout the movie to show you, like, aspects and pieces of their relationship. And like when they first got together and all that stuff. So it's kind of one of those like time hoppy type movies.
Yeah.
But they do a really good job of differentiating. I don't feel like it's confusing.
Yeah, you can usually tell when they like make it pretty obvious when it's like a flashback to their relationship. Also, like the lighting completely changes.
The lighting is like really.
You can tell it's like dreamy. Yeah.
Totally. It feels to me very like realistic because I feel like at least. I do this. I'm not sure if you do, but like where it's like when you think about like like someone that you loved from the past, there is this weird sort of like there's like a lens that's more maybe like romantic than it was.
Yeah,
actually.
No, I absolutely do that.
Yeah,
I'm like, he was the worst and I hate him forever. But, this one memory is so nice. I'm just going to live in that.
Totally.
So, after this, we meet Blair and Aaron, who are played by Brittany Snow and DeWanda Wise. We see a bit of their dynamic. They are Jenny's friends. and they live together. Oh, even before we get there, we see Erin at her
partner's house.
Yeah, not quite partner yet. They're like sleeping together, and Leah is her name.
I guess you would call it a situationship at this point.
Yeah, her situationship's house. And Leah's like, oh, I really want you to meet my friends. And Erin deflects.
Erin's like, I gotta go. Bye.
Suddenly very busy.
And there you see a clear and obvious
avoidant
attachment in the wild.
In the wild. Crikey, mate.
Yeah.
We found a wild avoidant.
Deflecting.
Observe as it deflects from natural love and secure relationships.
No!
Don't get too close, you might get hurt.
Literally.
True.
Literally.
But, so her situationship, Leah, is like, you're not going to avoid this conversation.
Wait, did I tell you that Mike said that the song Let It Go from Frozen is like an anxious attachment song?
What?
No, an avoidant attachment. I keep saying
like,
anxious. An avoidant attachment song.
Oh, I see that.
He was like, I really like that song.
I mean, let it go. Can't hold it back anymore.
Let it go.
Let it go.
Oh my God.
That perfect girl is gone.
I don't even know the words to that song. I just know like it got overdone, oversaturated in like 2011.
I was working in Walt Disney World when that movie came out.
Oh no!
So I have trauma because of that song.
Associated with that song.
I can't. It was just like every child I would meet as a character would come up and be like, Mickey, do you want to hear me sing Let It Go? And just be like, let it go, let it go. And I just had to be like, mm-hmm.
I love that you were inside of those costumes.
I was, quote unquote, friends with. It's not like they can fire me now. But, yeah, inside the costumes while children are singing Let It Go at me.
For hours on end.
And I just had to, like, mime along with them like I was excited to be hearing this song. I can't believe
that you did that. Like, how weird. Like, what a different life.
My life has had many twists and turns.
I can't wait for your book to come out.
Yeah, I'm writing a book on my life because my life's so
What's
interesting.
What's it called?
It's called Are My Ghost Parents Mad at Me? And it's a memoir.
That's so good. People would buy that. And I'm like staring at you with like a shirt full of ghosts on.
I don't know what you're talking about. I have no obsession with my ghost tattoo.
Oh my God.
We're fine. So anyway, an avoidant attachment in the wild.
Yes, we see Erin definitely in that avoidant energy of just not being able to deal with the feelings.
Yes.
There.
And her partner very much being like, I have all day to wait.
Secure.
So secure.
God, secure attachment. I don't know if people even know about attachment theory, but like you should learn about it because it's so real.
Interesting and real.
But like the secure attached person is just like patient and understanding and calm and like they're good.
They're good. I mean, they've worked through their shit.
Yeah, it's so nice to see it.
What's that like?
I know.
Anyway, so Erin leaves Leah's place and goes to her apartment where she lives with Blair. And Blair is there with her boyfriend, Will. And he's, like, running around cleaning. He's, like, kind of this doofus.
I did write this phrase here. White people are glaringly white.
Yeah, their relationship is very, very basic.
It's very, like... It's funny because he makes, like, a Full House reference. And it's very that. It's very, like, 90s white sitcom, like... They, like, just fake. They're both clearly kind of, like, faking it.
Yeah.
It's, like, really intense.
Yeah.
And, like, there should be a laugh track, you know?
Yeah, which is, like, I mean, if you think about 90s family dynamics, it's a lot of faking it. But, yeah, so they're very obviously, they have issues underneath. Like, at least on Blair's end, you can tell she's not really into the relationship and kind of hates him, but, like, it's comfortable, and she has this plan to be married by 30. And so she is talking to Aaron. Blair and Aaron are talking, and they see Jenny has posted an Instagram story. And
they're like, oh no.
Yeah, they can tell, like, whatever she has posted.
It's like a picture of a dog, and then it says, like...
The dog's name is Bub, but I think it's short for Beelzebub. And the dog, like, freaks out anytime a guy comes near him, just like... And, like, she posted a gif of that dog, and it says, everyone dies alone.
Yeah.
So they immediately get a FaceTime call after they watch that story from Jenny.
And Blair's like in denial, like, no, they didn't break up. They didn't break up. It's fine.
Because they seem like this perfect couple.
Yeah, and Aaron's like, I think they broke up.
I think it happened.
Yeah.
So Jenny calls, and she's like, cool, you saw my story, because they both answer like, hey. So Jenny's like, yeah, we broke up last night, but there's this, I have news.
It's fine.
Yeah.
It's great. And then she's like, at one point, she's like, I hope he dies. Just kidding. Anyway. Big news. Neon Classic.
Yeah, so this concert that they went to a few years ago, Neon Classic, Jenny finds out they're having a secret show this night. And it's, like, perfect timing for them to, like, have a day where they, you know, just, like, get everything out, drink a lot, recreational drug use.
She's definitely also focusing on the fact that it's, like, her last, like, month or whatever until she leaves. Or she's leaving, like, 2 weeks from then or something, like, really soon. So she's like, this is our last big night. Like, we have to go hard. We have to do it.
And so Blair can't get out of work because she has a hashtag rollout at work. But Aaron is immediately like, yep, I'm in. We'll pick up Blair at lunch. So Aaron and Jenny meet up with each other, and they're just kind of like drinking and talking about what's happened and like dancing along to Lizzo, just trying to like get things out. And Aaron realizes like, Jenny's a lot sadder than she thought.
You could have had a bad bitch.
Non-committal. Helped you with your career.
Just a little. I love that.
Just a little.
I love that line. I could have helped you with your career just a little.
Yeah.
Ooh,
bitch. We love Lizzo.
Yeah.
We love.
Love that scene. Very relatable.
Yeah, 100%. So they decide they have to get these tickets, and Jenny can't get them from work, so Aaron finds someone on Craigslist selling tickets.
Well, but before that happens, there's this moment where after like Lizzo's song ends, a Vampire Weekend song comes on, and then you just see Jenny kind of like zone out, and then it takes you into your first flashback, and it's the night that Jenny and Nate actually met.
Yeah.
And Jenny was there because there's this guy, Matt, who she, like, had a thing for. And he was, of course, with another girl. And then, like, Nate and her kind of make eye contact. And he comes over to her. And he's just like, is that the dude that you're here for?
She's like, what? No, I don't know him.
Yeah. And
he's like, well, let's show this guy you don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, fuck that dude you don't know. Like, okay. And he's just, Lakeith Stanfield's voice does something to me.
I know. He's gorgeous.
It is like melted butter all over my body.
He's so attractive.
It's insane.
Yeah. And like even just his character, like he has this like ease or like this calm.
His like go with the flow, but also like really extroverted and fun and like
so cute. And they dance the whole night away, and then it shows them going to his apartment and like they make passionate love. And it's like fun and cute and just all the things you want it to be. You know? They're definitely setting you up. You're like, oh.
And like Gina Rodriguez and Lakeith Stanfield do such a good job at like playing like they're in love. This movie kills me because their relationship feels
so real.
I'm just like,
they're
adorable.
The chemistry between them is really hot. It's like
so hot.
Yep. No, it really is. It's so good. But yeah, so that's the first flashback, and that's when you kind of come back into consciousness, and Aaron is like, ooh, Jenny is like not doing okay.
Yeah, straight up having flashbacks in the middle of the kitchen.
Literally. But then they're like on this mission to find the tickets, like you said, to go to the Neon Classic.
And Aaron decides, like, when they're on their way to get the tickets, they're going to get Blair out of work because Erin's drowning. She's out of her depth with just dealing with Jenny by herself because Jenny is trying to deflect, like, what she's feeling and going through by, like, just being, like, crazy, out there, going for it. And Erin's like, I can't keep up. It's a roller coaster. So
Jenny's, like, a little bit, she's unraveling a little.
She's a little unhinged.
Yeah.
A little unhinged.
Totally.
We can all relate. Day after a breakup is, especially if you're planning on, like, being in altered states of mind, you gotta be prepared for the roller coaster of emotions.
Yes.
So they go to get Blair from work, and Jenny's like, we'll just tell them Blair's mom died. And Erin goes, no. And she goes, we'll tell them Blair's aunt died. And Jenny goes, I'm afraid you don't know what's wrong with what you're suggesting. So they get to Blair's work, and Blair sees them and is like, what are you doing? Like, she's in the middle of a presentation. And Jenny is realizing, like, oh, we can't get her out. So Erin knocks on the window and goes, hey, Blair, your aunt died.
Oh my God.
And everyone in the office is like, was it Aunt Kathleen or whoever? And so Blair gets out of work. She decides to leave. And that's when they start to walk to the Craigslist boy.
Yes.
Who is played by Jabuki Young-White. I can't... Like, this is one of my favorite scenes in the movie because I think he's just so funny as a comedian.
It's so... The whole scene is so funny.
He's so stupid because it's, like, so New York to have this young dude with this massive loft and then be like, yeah, my parents bought me this place and then I cut them off 2 months later. Like, how do you cut off your parents who bought you... But, like, yeah, and they find out that he does not have the tickets.
He already gave them to his buddy.
Yeah. And so they leave. They steal his alcohol and his weed.
And then they leave.
I suggest you all watch the movie because that scene, like, I don't do it justice, but it's, like, just the way he talks and
it's really
acts
funny.
with them is so...
It's really cute.
Yeah, he's so entertaining. So this is when they decide... Oh, they see... boop, boop, beep, boop, 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 beep. I can't use words. They go to get lunch because they get really high. They found weed in Erin's pocket. And so they're eating lunch, and they see Matt, who Jenny was in love with in college.
Yeah. I feel like that scene is really realistic because, like, in a lot of movies, you would be like, girl, okay, what are the chances of him coming into this restaurant? But the way they handle it is where you have that feeling where you're like, Of course. Of all the times in my life that I could see this person, it would be fucking today.
The day after.
You know?
No, 100%.
And Erin is kind of like, you should fuck him. Like...
And Blair's like, no, you need to grieve.
You need to heal. Yeah.
It's funny. They're like two sides of the same coin. Like, Blair is the very, like, logical, like... planned outside, and Erin is like, I'm here for a good time, not a long time.
Totally.
Like, but they balance each other out, and that's why they're such good friends, because Blair brings structure to Erin's life, and Erin brings fun to Blair's life. I think it's really beautiful. Yes. So Matt is like, oh, if you guys want tickets to this thing, let's go. And they don't want to get tickets from him because he's weird and gross, so they think.
Well, and, like, Jenny still, like, hates him.
Yeah, she's very proud.
Yeah.
So as they're leaving and they realize they don't have these Craigslist tickets, they don't have any tickets, they see Rosario Dawson, who is Nate's cousin. And she's very...
She, like, works for Vogue.
Ugh.
And she's, like, tall and skinny and perfect.
And beautiful.
She's like, Jenny, like, what's this outfit you're wearing? You know what? I'm going to take a picture because we're doing this spread for Vogue right now that's like people who just do not care what they look like.
And she's like, this is exactly what I've been trying to show the photographer. You're perfect. And it's like, fuck off. And, like, they discover, like, Kanye West is going to be
at Neon Classic. What I love is she's like, oh, are you going to Neon Classic with Nate? And she's like, oh, and, well, we actually broke up. And she's like, oh, okay, well, like, Kim
keeps texting me, like, you never come out anymore.
Yeah, come see Kanye. And then she's like, oops, I wasn't supposed to tell you that.
Like, implying she's, like, best friends with Kim Kardashian.
And then I love when Jenny's like, wait, Kanye is a surprise guest? And then they're like,
and slightly problematic
choice. Yeah.
So that's when they realize they have to go. And Nate's cousin lets slip that Nate is going to be at Neon Classic. So Aaron is very much like, oh, this is the only reason you need to go to Neon Classic so bad. Because it's been like this like ordeal trying to get these tickets. Yeah. And Jenny's like, what? No, this is just for us. Like, I want to do this for us. Like, everyone can see through your bullshit, girl.
We all know. Yeah, we all know what's going on.
So Jenny decides to message Matt for tickets. And she's like, who wants to go to Doo-Doo Brooklyn to get these wristbands? And Blair immediately is like...
They're like, let's do rock, paper, scissors. And Blair's like, I'll go. and Jenny's like, you're such a good friend.
You're such a good friend.
Love that.
It's so funny.
In the middle, or during that time, at some point, there's like another flashback to like when he first said, I love you.
Yeah.
To her.
So cute.
And there's all these montage moments of like them just like being so cute together.
Yeah.
Like just these moments of them like happy and having fun and being goofy and playful. But there's this moment where he's like talking to her about, she's ordering Chinese food, and she's just like, you know,
speaking in Spanish,
very realistically just sitting there like, ooh, what even does that mean, baby? Do you want that? Like, like whatever, speaking in Spanish, like doing the most. And he's just like staring at her, and you could tell. I love it because I feel like sometimes those are the moments where you really do feel like the most in love with a person.
100%.
It's like when they're just like themselves fully, and you just get to kind of like witness it. And he's just staring at her, and he's just like, I love you. And she kind of doesn't know like what's, and then he's like, I'm kidding, I don't love you. And then he's like, no, I do.
No, I do.
I do love you.
It's so cute.
And then he like runs to, he's like, I got to shower because I smell like Kung Pao chicken. And then he like runs to the shower.
Kung Pao chicken, like trying to like play it off. And she's like, why didn't I say anything?
And he's like, baby, it's okay, it's okay. And then he gets in the shower, and then she's sitting there, and she's like, what's wrong with me? Like, I just say it. And she runs into the bathroom, and then she accidentally scares him, and he gets soap in his eye.
She like screams, I love you, to scare him. And like, it's a whole mess, and it's just the cutest freaking scene. Every time I watch it,
breathe,
I get so angry and I have a panic attack.
It's so good.
It's just, the flashbacks make you like, they really pull out of you like every past relationship you've had, and like how you do think about those memories.
So true.
They did such a good job filming them, and not to mention I'm obsessed with the lighting in all of this movie.
Yeah, it's like this pink and blue.
Yeah,
like
the flashback lighting, they do a really good job of making it seem really dreamy and cool and like almost in an alternate universe.
Absolutely.
But
because that's kind of how you feel when you're in love with someone. You feel like you're in like an alternate universe with them. And
I love love.
You're so cheese. I love it.
I love it.
Little cheesy Danielle. I'm so happy you don't deny it anymore.
I'm lactose intolerant. I can't be cheesy.
But yeah, it's such a beautiful moment. And then when it goes back to her, it's like I love how in this movie, like, you can feel how much it hurts to have those memories, because one, you've had that happen before, and two, I was like with Mike the other night, and I can't remember what we were doing, but I had a thought of like, oh God, if we ever break up, like, I'm gonna think about this moment.
Yeah.
Like I was like, I got weird and existential, and was like, oh my God, like this is what I need to be like really not taking for granted, because these are the type of things that like you when it's over, whatever, you'll look back on that and be like, oh, that moment, you know?
That's how I feel about my dog. So I don't take any moment with Poe for granted. So that scene's really cute. I love. I can't help it. That's why I'm doing a romantic comedy podcast.
Love is everything. That's why. It's all the best of us.
All you need is love.
So
So while Blair is going to get these wristbands from Matt in Brooklyn, Jenny and Aaron go to get what's called Hype Molly
from Hype.
from Hype for the Neon Classic. And we find out Hype is Rupaul Charles.
RuPaul
Le
Charles.
Charles.
Yes.
So cute. Love this scene. Like, he's very much like the drug dealer that you wish existed. Not your typical experience with a drug dealer.
The drug dealer you wish existed. That's so true.
Like half drug dealer, half therapist.
Who doesn't want to go to like RuPaul's apartment with like 5 teacup chihuahuas and like him in like a gorgeous robe? Yeah.
Like with baby sharks, and like offers you some hits of weed, sits down, talks about your problems. And you know, he says to her, he goes, "You got a lot of sadness behind those eyes." It's like he's just very much like the wise drug dealer in this movie.
And he kind of says to her like, you gotta get your man back. Like, you're not ready for this to be over. You know?
I don't think Hype was ready for it to be over because he thinks Nate is beautiful, and as we all do.
As we all should.
And so, they sit there, they get stoned with Hype, they have like a little therapy session, and while this is happening, Miss Blair, she is doing some shenanigans. Let me tell you, I love her character in this movie. She is so multifaceted.
Let's talk about the multifaceted female character. She's definitely one of them.
Yeah, every single one of the leads are
we give them some depth and complexity in this movie. I love it.
Yeah, like I think like each of the characters in this movie are leads in their own right. Like obviously, like we're supposed to be following Jenny for the most part, but the way they don't have her best friends just be like supportive and then there when there's conflict and then be gone, and have them have their own like really intense stories that everyone goes through because life is messy. Like everyone's the protagonist in their own story, and yes. I think this movie does a really good way of showing how these 3 people are protagonists in their own stories, and how when it meshes together you can help each person in their story.
And it's so balanced. Like,
yeah, it really is.
It's so like, it never feels like they're like pushing a storyline. Or you know how like in old rom-coms, like it would be like the gay best friend and the very last scene locks eyes with the only other gay guy in the story type thing. Yeah. And it's like, oh, I guess they're not allowed to say they're gay ever after now too. Like, but you actually get stories from these 2 side characters, and in that way they become kind of like their own main characters. They're
not left to be like the Judy Greer character, unfortunately. As much as we love you, Judy Greer, you deserved better characters. The Blair is doing her damn thing. So as we've mentioned earlier, she's in this really unhappy relationship. They haven't been having a lot of sexual intercourse. I don't know why I said it like that.
You okay?
Yeah, I'm fine.
Okay.
They haven't been having a lot of sex, so she goes and meets up with Matt, and like you can tell there's this like antagonistic flirting going on, and we find out they had sex previously, like I think like once before.
Yeah.
And they get into it.
Matt's clearly very into her.
So into her. He's like, I hate you so much, but I'm so into you. Like, such a fun dynamic. I don't know why. I mean, I do know why I love that dynamic, but so they have sex, and he gives her the wristbands for the Neon Classic, and he goes, oh, they're not VIP wristbands, they're just GA.
But I got you into the after party.
And she goes, that was not general admission sex.
Yeah.
And he goes, you are my type of girl.
Yeah.
So she gets the tickets and goes back home to her apartment to grab, like, some things to go back to Jenny's. And when she gets there, like, you can tell she's kind of, like, thinking about, like, what's going on in her life.
Yeah.
Like, she's in this unhappy relationship. She's just cheated on her boyfriend for the second time and is like, what am I doing? And her boyfriend pops out of nowhere and, like, scares her. And apparently he's been cleaning her apartment while she was gone as a surprise.
Which, okay.
Like,
weird.
You can tell he's, like, compensating.
Yeah.
For the relationship dynamic.
Totally.
And so she sits him down and she goes, are you happy? And he's like, yeah, of course, I'm so happy. And she goes, well, I don't think I am happy. And he responds, oh, thank God, I haven't been happy in so long. And, like, it's such a, like, beautiful way to see a relationship ending without it being antagonistic or, like, just, like, mean-spirited or upsetting. It's just, like, two people realizing, like, this has run its course.
Right.
And before anything gets worse, why don't we just cut it off here?
Absolutely.
It's really mature, and I love seeing this type of breakup.
It has a nice, like, humor to it, too.
Yeah.
It's just like, it's just not
going to work. He was
we're
like,
not in love.
I thought about cheating on you last week. And she was like, oh, with who? Like, it's cute, like, the way they talk about this.
Because,
like,
it's so clearly done, you know?
Because it could be easy to be like, you wanted to cheat on me? And it's like, why? Would it even hurt at this point? Like, yeah. So she breaks up with her boyfriend, Will. And I'm just so happy for her.
Yes. And then she goes to Jenny's. Mm-hmm. And then Jenny and Aaron and Blair have, like, a whole outfit montage moment, which is necessary for all romantic comedies. They're getting ready for the Neon Classic.
They went to Leah's store. Aaron and Jenny went to Leah's store.
When Blair was back home.
Yeah.
They went to
Aaron's situationship store. And Leah's, like, bringing up, like, so what about meeting my friends? And Aaron's still being, like, wishy-washy about it. And that's when Jenny pulls her into the fitting room and is like, what are you doing? Why are you ruining this?
Yeah.
And you can tell Aaron is just not...
Aaron gets actually pissed.
Yeah.
And is like, mind your business. Like,
yeah. And this is, like, a theme with her when it comes time to talk about, like, why are you acting like this? She shuts down.
Yep, she can't do it. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I noticed that too. Like, she was, like, mad. Mm-hmm. And Jenny was just like, okay.
Yeah.
So then they go back to Jenny's after that scene. And then they have their little outfit montage. Yeah. Trying on all their clothes, doing their makeup, dancing, listening to music, all that good stuff.
Blair tells them she broke up with Will.
Yes.
And, like, they're all just so excited for everyone to be involved in living.
Yes.
So when they're finally finished getting dressed, they all look hot.
One thing I noticed, too, is that, like, every time one of those, like, pervasive memories happens, she, like, will use, like, she'll be like, I'm going to smoke, or, like, I'm going to get a drink. Deflecting. Which is so real, just, like, trying to numb the pain, you know? Trying to, like, forget.
Especially, like, so fresh. Like, those memories, the day after a breakup, like I said, like, it's so clear in your mind. Every single moment you've had with that person up until the breakup. And then, like, a week later, you're like, who is that? But, yeah.
Not for me. 6 Maybe years not later, you're like, who is that?
But, yeah, she definitely tries to numb out the pain. And, like, I feel for her.
And they're, like, pouring tequila into Blair's mouth.
Bad Blair.
And then right before they leave, they take the Molly. Mm-hmm. And then the next scene.
They head to the Neon Classic. Which is, like, it seems like it would be so fun, but it's also so many people at this point, and watching it in a post-pandemic world, thinking about that many people in that small of a space stresses me out a bit. But I'm happy they're having fun.
Right.
So they're dancing. Who is it? Jessie Reyez is performing, having a good time. And that's when Jenny sees Nate.
Yes.
From across the room.
And this part gets pretty intense because Aaron sees her seeing Nate and then is kind of like, I'm not going to let you go. and is like literally blocking her from going.
Jenny's like, I'm an adult.
I'm a grown woman. I can do what I want. And they're like, we don't want you to
hurt yourself.
Yeah. And it's really cute because Blair's like, please, like,
she's
please
like rubbing her face.
She's like, please don't go. So then Jenny gets pissed and walks away, and then they follow her towards like the bathroom area. And she's just like, they have a kind of like a fight where it's just like, fuck you. Like,
it's like, who are you to tell me anything about love or what I should be doing?
Yes,
to Aaron.
Like, you don't know what this feels like, basically.
Yeah.
And then Aaron's like, well, fuck this. And like, Aaron and Blair kind of like walk away. Jenny goes into the bathroom, drops her phone into the toilet, basically immediately.
We love a foil.
God. So now she's phoneless.
Yeah.
And she goes back out, and what is the song? The song that's playing, it's a Jessie Reyez song, but like, it's like so perfect. The timing and like the slow-mo vibe.
So the lighting, when Jenny and Nate lock eyes and this Jessie Reyez song is playing Jessie Reyez song is playing is like the same lighting from the flashbacks we've been seeing. Like, that purple, pink, blue lighting, and it like makes you feel like, oh my God, this is a moment. They're gonna talk. And then
they just like look at each other from kind of like probably like 10 feet away, and you can tell his like stomach drops when he turns and sees her.
That feeling.
And they're just kind of like staring at each other, and she just like mouths to him like, I love you.
Yeah.
And I think he says, I love you too.
Yeah, and he like nods for her to come over.
And she doesn't.
She chooses herself.
And then she goes, she's trying to get some air, and then she sees Matt, and Matt's like, I'll take you to the after party. And she's like, I'm not trying to hook up with you. Like, and he's like, whoa. Like,
he's like, I don't want to
chill.
hook up
Yeah,
with you.
like, I'm just offering to take you. And she's like, my phone's broken. I don't know where, like,
he's like,
Blair is. And
I'll text them.
So she goes with Matt to the after party.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Blair and Aaron are getting kind of frustrated trying to find Jenny. And
Aaron's like, Jenny needs to grow up. Like,
they are outside the venue.
Yeah. And Aaron's like just venting about how Jenny needs to grow up. And Blair goes, that's the pot telling the kettle to grow up. And Aaron's like, what does that mean? And Blair basically confronts Aaron about like, why doesn't she want to grow up? Like, she's still trying to live like she's in college and like avoid like getting close to people that haven't already been close to her, and like avoid accepting responsibility and growing up. She's like, I want a best friend who's gonna go to the farmer's market with me. And Aaron goes, the farmer's market sounds really warm and coddling and comfortable right now. Is there one tomorrow? And like they kind of talk it out, and like Aaron realizes like before they go get Jenny, there's something they need to do, which is stop at Leah's place.
I love that scene. So they stop at Leah's, and basically they put headphones on
Blair, because Blair's still feeling the Molly, babe.
And she's still rolling. And also, like, they want to have privacy.
Yeah.
So Aaron sits down and starts talking to Leah and is basically just like, I don't know how to do this. Like, I think and then it's so sweet because Leah's just like nodding and like supporting, and then basically Aaron opens up that, you know, she was in love in college and she thought everything was great with this girl, and then out of nowhere she basically went back to men, kind of like, it seems like she kind of got like ghosted a little bit.
Yeah.
And, you know, ever since then she like has never
wanted to open back up.
Yeah, and she was like, I've also never told anyone that this happened.
And Leah's just like so comforting. She's like, you have two straight best friends. Like, I can't imagine you're sitting around reading queer theory together. It's going to be hard to open up to them about things like this. And like, it's just a really beautiful moment between two queer women.
And she's just like, we can take things slow. And she's like, okay. And then as she's trying to say, I love you, Leah just says, I love you too. It's so...
Leah goes, I think I love you too.
I think I love you too. Yeah.
It's like, anticipating someone's needs, and like it's just so beautiful to see such like a loving, healthy queer relationship in such a big blockbuster movie.
And like, it's such a big breakthrough for Erin, and you can tell that like growth, baby. We love to see it.
We love to see it. We're so happy for you, Erin, you non-existent person. But for all the Erins out there, please grow.
What do we love to see in this podcast? Growth. I love to see it. It makes me so happy.
That's going to be on our merch.
Oh,
Yeah, exactly that. I love their storyline. I think they're so sweet, and like it's so nice to see someone be patient and like understanding, because being attracted to a person who is avoidant can get very frustrating if they're not actively trying to grow and learn.
Yeah.
So it's really beautiful to see someone who is patient and kind and loving and just willing to take it at Erin's pace.
Totally. It's okay. So next we're at the after party, and Jenny's sitting with Matt talking, and she's like, I feel so sad. Like, I'm just so heartbroken. Like, I just don't know what to do. And then he says...
She was like, if this is your fault.
Yeah, she says that. She's like, this is your fault. If you had just dated me, I never would have met Nate.
He was like, I was an idiot in college, dude.
Yeah. And then he says something which I really liked, which is like, you know, you're blessed like to have a broken heart, you know, like when the pain is gone, then it's really over. Yeah. And I was like, ooh, that's so true.
Yeah. No, it's a really beautiful way to look at it. And like it really changes her perspective, because like she does have these beautiful memories, and I think she likes that they're so beautiful because it makes her feel something.
So then she leaves. She's like, I have to leave. If they ask where I am, tell them I need to finish it. Yeah. And so you see her getting on the subway, and she's writing.
Matt apologizes for being a dick in college. He does. Which I think is really, I love seeing that too. Growth.
We
love to see it. But he's just like, I'm sorry I was such a dick in college. And she says, it's okay. Because of you, I met Nate.
And that's just such a nice thing to think about.
It's like a full circle just within the scene.
We love to like be mad about like exes and things. It's a very much thank you next moment where it's like, I'm grateful that this idiot Matt didn't actually like me or didn't give me what I needed, because if it hadn't been for that, I wouldn't have met Nate. Yeah. It's that feeling of just trusting that like what is happening to you is happening, you know, and with purpose, and you're going to be able to move on and find new things and meet the right people. And I think that's such a nice moment.
It's so beautiful.
Nice moment. Yes.
So yeah, then she's on the subway and she's like writing this really beautiful like piece, because she's a writer. But she's writing this like really beautiful piece about how like, you know, sometimes when things break, you can glue the pieces back together, but sometimes things shatter. And when the sun hits the shattered glass, it makes something really beautiful.
It makes it glitter.
Yeah.
And you can see, like, the good parts.
And I think it's, like, I can't do the piece justice. Like, if you just listen to it.
Yeah.
Everyone who's ever been through a breakup would be like, oh, you're right.
Totally.
So Erin and Blair end up at the after party and are looking for Jenny. And instead of looking for Jenny, Blair finds Matt.
And goes into the bathroom.
And they immediately start having sex.
Ooh, he says, what does he say? You're so fucking beautiful or something?
You're so
fucking sexy. He's like holding her face.
Hands on her face. I was like,
yes, he's like, you're so fucking sexy. And then he like pushes her up against the wall. I was like, okay, Matt.
I was like, excuse me, 4-letter name. You're going to call me sexy. Thank you. Gorge. Yeah, it's really hot. Yeah. It's a good moment. And as Blair's running around Erin, so many names. Erin's running around trying to find Jenny. She goes into the bathroom and sees Blair and Matt having sex. Ooh. And she's like, girl, you fuck. Because earlier in the movie, they were like, you don't fuck Blair. And it's just a really funny moment. And they discuss it afterwards.
Yeah, basically, Erin goes outside to wait, and then Blair comes out and is like,
hello.
So, and they kind of talk about it.
And they are told that Jenny gave some cryptic message like, I'm gonna end it, I'm gonna finish it.
And Aaron knows.
Yeah, Aaron figures it out, so they go to Washington Square
But before
Park.
they get there, that's where Jenny is sitting. And you had seen, like, an earlier flashback that he, like, wrote, like, their initials and, like, forever on the... At Washington Square Park, and they had all these memories there.
Oh, they also had a flashback of them getting into an argument and having makeup sex to Mitski.
Oh, yeah, we forgot about that.
That was a really
they did a really good job of, like, slowly showing you, like, the relationship unraveling. Like, where at first it's, like, really beautiful and wonderful, which is so real. And then, like, they had this big fight scene that was, like, she was like, since when do you fucking care about your work friends? And he's like, you were on your fucking phone the whole time. And then... She's like, fuck you, da-da-da. And he's like, don't say fuck so much to me. And they're, like, yelling at each other.
Other's face.
And then they go home and they have sex. I think that's, like, the last time they have sex.
Yeah.
I think that's, like, the night before they break
like,
up.
Realizing, like,
it's
this
over.
Isn't working.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just not what it was. But anyways, so she's in Washington Square Park, and all of a sudden you see Nate roll up. He's there, and he says to her, like, I want to make it work with you. We can do long distance. And they're like,
even if this falls apart, at least we can say we
could try. And she's like, really? And like, and for a second you're like, oh my God. And then all of a sudden, Aaron is like, wake up. And she wakes up, and she had fallen asleep in Washington Square Park. And they were like, how did you not get robbed?
Yeah. But and we realized that was a dream.
I love that they added that in, because no matter how, like, much she was, like, choosing herself, like, there's going to be a part of you that, like, wants that to be a reality. Yeah. You know?
Yeah.
And so, and for a second, even you're like, could it be? But when she wakes up, she basically has the first truly vulnerable moment with them the whole 24 hours. And she's just like, it wasn't just San Francisco. Like, we weren't working anymore.
Yeah.
It just wasn't making sense. And, like, I knew it, but, like, you know, I just couldn't accept it. And I'm just really sad. And, you know, she was like, I'm leaving New York, and I'm not going to be near you guys anymore. And it's like, I'm starting a whole new chapter, and I'm scared, you know? And they all just, like, hug and
cry.
And Blair is like, I fucked Matt. Are you mad at me?
Aaron says Blair fucked Matt, and Blair says Aaron's in love with Leah. They're, like, spilling each other's tea.
And she's like, you guys did a lot today.
It was a lot of time.
Yeah.
And it's just like a really beautiful moment at the end of the movie. Like, just like, it wasn't the destination, it was the friends we made along the way.
Yeah.
Yeah. No.
No, really, I mean, I think that's kind of like the message, is that, like, sometimes we get so caught up in, like, if a relationship doesn't last forever, then it wasn't good enough or something. But it's like, that's not real. It's like that relationship had its own time, and it was beautiful, and it was exactly what she needed and deserved in those moments.
Yeah.
And, you know, she's gonna have to move on and find love again and do it again, but, like,
at least she'll be able to look back on it positively.
Yeah.
Because it's not like it ended for any, like, overly negative reason. Like,
it was just
people
time.
Just grow apart.
People change, you know? And that's, like, such a hard thing to accept. And I think when I think about myself at 21 versus now, I mean, like, I've changed a ton. I would be surprised if I could be with, like, the same person that I would have been with at 21, you know?
No, I couldn't.
So it's you know, it's beautiful that they had 9 years together.
Yeah.
You know, some people never get that with anybody. So I think that's kind of like a bittersweet ending that you know that she is accepting throughout the course of this 24 hours.
Yeah.
She's accepting it.
Yeah.
You know,
she's going through the grief process.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's a very beautiful ending, because it also ends with them, like, really being thankful for their friendship with each other as well. Because they're all just like, look at all the shit we did just because we were together today. Yep. This was, like, the best day I've had in such a long time. Like,
which is so real. And I think what I really like about it is, like, movies often put a focal point on love relationships, and even though they are really important, like the relationships that we have with our friends,
platonic relationships, they're gonna get you through the love relationships. Like, I would be nothing without you, Catherine.
Ooh, stop.
I love you so much.
I love you too, idiot.
Hey!
You better not move to San Francisco.
Well, I mean, it's not that far away from here.
It's too far.
It's too far.
We would...
Catherine.
What?
I have a question.
What?
How did this movie fuck you up? How did this movie fuck you up?
How did this movie fuck me up? That's a weird question. Where did you get that idea?
I don't know. I've just been thinking about it a lot, and I'm just really curious to know how movies fuck you up. We've never done it before.
It's crazy. What a weird change.
Bananas.
I just think the flashbacks, but they got me. Because I feel like my Pisces placements like are just constantly doing the flashback moments. But also, I think having lived in New York and having had like two significant like love relationships in that city, like it's weird. It's like a time capsule, and everywhere feels like the place you went with that person. It's like you can't get places back there.
New York is a part of the relationship when you're in a relationship in New York.
It's so weird. Yeah. Carrie Bradshaw would say like you're in a relationship with New York. But anyway, there's like a whole episode where she's like, I'm in a relationship with this city.
Oh God.
We love.
Yeah.
But yeah, that is really, it's weird. It's a weird thing. Like last time I went back, I was like, ooh, this feels like a graveyard.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I think the way that they show that, like there's this one scene in particular where it's like, it's kind of like moving, like the camera's moving, and it's like different stoops in New York of them like leaving parties and like, you know,
it shows like different phases of their relationship.
Yeah. And this like slow kind of like montage. So I think that's how it fucked me up. And just the way that they told the story. And also that, you know, it wasn't about her. It wasn't us watching like, oh my God, they finally got together. Oh my God, this relationship. It was such a different formula for romantic comedy. And yeah, that's how it fucked me up.
Fucked me up.
Yeah, darling. So I guess I've got a question for you. And I know it's going to seem not really random.
Off topic.
I don't know where it comes from. It's just like in my head.
Off the top of me noggin.
How did this movie actually like? How did it fuck you up?
What? I don't understand your. I don't understand.
Not
your
SpongeBob.
Accent.
Not SpongeBob. Oh, I love that.
How did this movie fuck me up?
Yes. Oh.
I mean, I've been waiting all episode.
Oh my God. If you could see her face right now. Lord.
The sound track.
Oh my God. Yeah. How have we not talked about the soundtrack?
Because I didn't want to divert attention away from the great writing and direction of the movie, but also this soundtrack. If you guys want to know what I listen to on my drives, sad girls with guitars. That's it. Most of the soundtrack, the same sad girls with guitars. And it makes me so much more attached to the movie when I'm like, oh, I know this song. I know this song. Wait, this is the song I've uncontrollably sobbed to.
The Mitski sex scene is so good.
Oh, it does something to me.
Whoever made the soundtrack for this, genius.
Here's my number. You? I think it might have been me. I didn't get compensated. But I might as well. They might have been on my Spotify. Because literally every single song, even like the Vampire Weekend song they chose, like it would have been so easy to go with like A-Punk or something like that. But they did Mansard Roof. Of all the songs, one of my favorites. And the Phoebe Bridgers, and this is pre-Punisher Phoebe Bridgers, which is like her most recent and biggest album. This is Stranger in the Alps, Phoebe Bridgers. My favorite album. Motion Sickness, Scott Street, we love. I'm obsessed. And the Mitski, Your Best American Girl, I have...
Like, you're the only person I know that would be
sobbed.
What should they be having, like, breakup sex to? I know. Mitski.
Like, the only person who would do that. And I'm obsessed with it. I have a giant crush on whoever did the soundtrack.
Well, it also really made the movie it made the movie better.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
It really increased it because it's so easy to do like really well-known songs. But like the thing is, she's a writer for Rolling
music.
Stone.
Yeah, that's why I really liked it, is because they picked music that was like realistically what like a music person would choose.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The soundtrack fucks me up. I mean, the movie's really great, and I do really love the movie, and I'm sure there's more I could choose to fuck me up, but, like, this soundtrack, if you want any insight as to who I am as a person, listen to this soundtrack.
Team. Honestly, it's kind of wild.
I'm wearing a Phoebe Bridgers shirt.
Yeah.
Like, didn't even realize it. So, that's my mini rant about how much I
fucked you up.
Yeah, because I'm probably going to listen to the same exact songs on the drive home from here.
My favorite moment was like 2 weeks ago or something. Lord's new song came out and we were listening to it in the car and you were like, it's okay. It's like, it's just so happy. I was like, God forbid.
It's all about being in the sun and having a good day.
And her being a prettier Jesus.
Looking like a prettier Jesus. I look like a prettier mole rat, so like I can't.
Bitch, do not say that.
I do not say that.
Do not speak that way about yourself, madam.
Do not speak the way you do about yourself.
What is happening?
Did they? Or didn't they?
Well, guess what, ladies and gentlemen, folks.
Second week in a row.
Ladies and gentlemen, folks and friends.
Girls, gays, and theys.
That was a drum roll.
God, sorry. I was so in awe by your drum roll.
Say it.
They didn't. They fucking didn't.
They didn't end up.
Well, Aaron and Leah did.
Yeah, Aaron and Leah did. That's true.
And
Blair fucked.
She did with herself.
But the main characters did not.
Second week in a row. Should we be canceled?
No.
I mean, it is called Will They or Won't They?
Will they or won't they?
One or the other, babes.
They didn't.
I mean, they kind of did, but mostly didn't.
But they didn't.
But they didn't.
You know, she's moving to San Fran.
She's getting her shit together.
She works for Rolling Stone. She's
like,
stop being so sad.
She's gonna end up marrying like Harry Styles.
No.
Or something. Oh, sorry.
I need to. No, I'm just kidding.
I forgot to tell you, I've been texting with Harry.
I don't know that I could, because of just all the Libra and Aquarius.
He's a very...
Like, I do really well with Aquarians, but...
I do not. I mean, I do well, but they traumatize me.
Yeah. I feel like Aquarius for you is like Scorpio for me.
Probably. I don't know. I want to kiss them and then also punch them.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Anyway, thank you guys so much for listening.
Yeah, if you guys want like some more astrology details, let us know.
We also have a side astrology podcast called It's Written in the Stars.
Isn't that an actual astrology
podcast? It probably
podcast?
is, honestly.
I think it is.
That would make sense. By CoStar. Thank you for listening. We love and appreciate you guys so much. Make sure you like, subscribe, and rate and review us. We ask this of you every week, but we're gonna do it again. I don't know what that was.
I don't either, darling.
Thank you to Pearl for the use of our theme song.
We're really bad at like saying it, but when we do say it, we really mean it.
Every time. To you and to Pearl. Thank you to all of you.
Yeah, thank you so much. Let us know if you have any feedback or any
suggestions.
Yeah.
Talk to us on Instagram.
We're open to it.
Yeah. And yeah. If you have any movies you want to see, shoot us a DM.
We should do that again. We should do another what do you
call out?
Yeah. Okay, that was fun. Okay.
Thanks, guys. We'll talk to you next week. Bye.
Bye.